豺狼的日子大结局竟惨遭妻子和雇主背叛。
I will come and I will find you.
The Jackal's finale ends in tragic betrayal, abandoned by both his employer and his wife. He swiftly siphons gasoline through a tube, then walks into the RV. He places the fuel container on the seat, carefully wraps a small gas canister in aluminum foil, and puts it inside the microwave. After shutting the door and setting the timer, he turns on all the gas valves, grabs his luggage, and briskly walks away to a safe distance. Moments later, a deafening explosion tears through the air. The RV is reduced to rubble in a raging inferno. This is the most heartbreaking ending for the Jackal. In this episode, he not only suffers a ruthless betrayal from his employer, but must also face the departure of his beloved wife. The intense and nerve-wracking confrontation lays crucial groundwork for the already confirmed second season. Without further ado, let's dive in. After overcoming countless dangers and finally succeeding in assassinating his target, completing the last job of his career, the Jackal speeds through the city in a BMW. The local police have already set up multiple roadblocks. With no time to disguise himself, he chooses to confront them head-on. Without hesitation, he rams through 2 checkpoint officers and floors the accelerator. Fortunately, he had previously memorized every escape route in the small town. Despite relentless pursuit from police vehicles, he maneuvers with ease. The Jackal darts through a narrow alleyway, trapping the pursuing patrol cars behind him. A faint smile curls at the corner of his lips. But suddenly, a police motorcycle bursts out from the side. He violently jerks the steering wheel and races down a flight of stairs. Ahead lies a sharp turn. The Jackal executes a flawless drift, while the motorcycle, unable to slow in time, crashes hard onto the pavement. Just as he believes he has shaken them off, another police barricade appears ahead. Officers quickly deploy spike strips across the road, but the Jackal reacts faster. With a sharp spin of the wheel, he performs a perfect U-turn, narrowly avoiding the trap. Ironically, the pursuing police car behind him slams into the spikes instead, losing control. After dodging a barrage of bullets, he finally shakes off all pursuers. But fate has other plans. As he speeds around a sharp bend, a young boy suddenly runs into the road chasing after a ball. To avoid hitting the child, the Jackal swerves violently. The car spins out of control, plunges into a roadside ditch, and flips several times before coming to a stop. Flames begin licking from the chassis. The Jackal loses consciousness from the violent impact. Fortunately, a passing truck rumbles by. The roar of its engine jolts him awake. A kind-hearted driver rushes toward the wreck while calling emergency services. Seeing him approach, the Jackal cries out for help. The driver pries open the passenger door and retrieves the suitcase. Seizing the opportunity, the Jackal discreetly slips his pistol into his pocket. With the man's assistance, he manages to crawl out of the wreckage. Noticing blood on the Jackal's hand, the driver pulls out his phone to call for medical help. But suddenly, he sees the Jackal pull a weapon from the vehicle. Terrified, the man raises his hands, pleading not to be hurt. The Jackal does have a merciful side. He simply asks for the truck keys. After taking the man's phone, he places his equipment in the passenger seat. He notices the mother of the boy upstairs making a call, but doesn't linger. He starts the truck and speeds away. Deep in the woods, the Jackal carefully changes his appearance, putting on glasses to alter his look. After removing his weapons and suitcase, he sets the cab on fire. Then, with all his strength, he pushes the truck into the ditch. Only a complete explosion can erase every trace. But now, without transportation, his escape becomes far more difficult. As he contemplates his next move, his eyes fall upon an elderly couple camping nearby. After observing them for a moment, he comes up with a plan. He slips on a wedding ring and approaches them, pretending his arm is injured. He even mentions a history of high blood pressure, earnestly asking for help. The elderly couple, touched by his sincerity, agree to drive him to the nearest hospital. The Jackal truly has a face that inspires trust. Along the way, the three chat and laugh, but while casually checking the mat mid-conversation, he suddenly pulls a weapon from his pocket and politely informs them that there's been a change of plans. They will now drive toward the Montenegro border, an 80-minute trip. When the elderly couple refuse, the Jackal calmly clicks off the safety on his gun. The moment the elderly couple sees the weapon, panic floods their faces. The Jackal calmly assures them he won't hurt anyone, he only needs to borrow the car. Under his threat, the old man has no choice but to drive toward the Montenegro border. It isn't until late at night that they finally reach the checkpoint, but to their shock, the border is heavily guarded. Armed officers and police dogs are conducting strict inspections. The Jackal immediately realizes there's almost no chance of slipping through unnoticed. After quickly checking the map, he instructs the old man to turn into the right lane and drive away from the checkpoint. After traveling a short distance, the Jackal suggests they pull over to rest. On the surface, it seems he genuinely wants the elderly couple to ease their fatigue, but the old man knows better. He's convinced the Jackal will eventually kill them to silence witnesses. "I'd like a cigarette," the old man says. The Jackal steps out of the car as well. The two stand facing each other under the dim night sky. The old man hands him a cigarette and even lights it for him. Then bluntly, he asks, "Are you going to kill us?" The Jackal looks at the old man's weary face, and for a brief moment, it reminds him of his own parents. Firmly, he answers, "No, I won't hurt you. You're like my parents," he explains. "Good people.
The old man nods quietly. He crushes the cigarette beneath his shoe and says something meaningful before turning back toward the car. The jackal pauses in thought, then follows. He truly doesn't want to harm them. He even turns his back to them, allowing them to rest. But suddenly, the elderly woman secretly pulls out a small fruit knife. In an instant, the jackal draws the knife from his back and stares at her in alarm. Perhaps even now he still intends to spare them, until the old man suddenly lunges forward, tackling him to the ground. In the chaos, the jackal's pistol falls. The old man releases his grip from the jackal's throat and reaches for the gun. The jackal grabs his arm. They struggle. A gunshot rings out. The old man slowly rises to his feet and turns toward his wife. Blood spreads across his chest. Before he can say a word, the jackal fires again. There is no turning back now. The elderly woman trembles in terror. The jackal mutters anguish. I. He glances at her and realizes he has no choice. Another shot echoes into the night. He lets out a pained roar. If you think about it from the couple's perspective, no one would believe that a professional assassin would suddenly spare them. For them, fighting back was the only option. Meanwhile, events unfold elsewhere. News of the billionaire's assassination spreads rapidly. The true mastermind behind it all marvels at the jackal's skill, but he has no intention of paying the remaining balance. Instead, he orders his men to eliminate the problem permanently. Their solution? Use the police to get rid of him. Through connections, they bribe a senior official in the London police force, assigning the case to the ambitious female detective who has been tracking the jackal all along. She gladly accepts. In the previous episode, the jackal had eliminated a local crime boss for his brother-in-law. Following that lead, the detective quickly connects the mysterious cyber to the jackal. Without delay, she and her partner rush to Spain. At the local police station, they uncover crucial information. A man's sister had married a wealthy businessman named Cartello. That name instantly reminds the detective of a deceased elite sniper. She's certain she has found her target. Fully armed, she arrives at the jackal's home. Upon meeting his wife, Anna, she becomes even more convinced this is his base of operations. As a true police officer, she chooses not to kill him outright. Instead, she decides to wait. She wants to use the jackal to uncover the real mastermind behind everything. Meanwhile, the jackal uses the elderly couple's phone to call his wife. He dreams of a future where the three of them, husband, wife, and child, can escape far away and start anew. But Anna's heart is filled with doubt. She can no longer ignore the truth about her husband. After an entire night of torment and reflection, she finally makes a decision. She enters the jackal's hidden room, takes part of the cash, and hurriedly packs a few clothes. And when she sees what her husband carefully made for their child,
As Anna boards the presidential aircraft, tears stream uncontrollably down her face. After blowing up the elderly couple's RV, the jackal quickly assumes a new identity and makes his way back to Spain. He first boards a bus. The inspector happens to know the female driver, so he merely checks the passengers' passports before waving the bus through the border with little scrutiny. Next, the jackal arrives at the airport. Using his new identity, he passes through security without issue. While waiting to board, he uses a computer in the terminal to contact his employer, demanding that the remaining payment be settled within 24 hours. Julie immediately contacts the true mastermind behind the operation to ask about the outstanding balance. The mastermind's secretary tells her that a man named Simon will contact her shortly and instructs her to wait at a hotel. At that moment, Julie senses something is wrong. If the mastermind intends to back out of the deal, the first person he would eliminate is not the jackal, but her. After all, killing her would be far easier than killing a professional assassin. So Julie keeps her guard up and waits in the hotel lobby for Simon. By observing Simon's conversation with his superior, she confirms her suspicion. The mastermind has no intention of paying. She immediately flees the hotel, but she knows the jackal's personality well. If someone breaks a contract with him, he will make them pay dearly. Now that her employers want to silence her, her only chance of survival is to help the jackal first. Back at the jackal's home in Spain, the female detective and her partner continue their patient surveillance. When a taxi pulls up, the detective quickly raises her binoculars. She sees Anna, carrying simple luggage and holding her child, get into the car. Her partner asks whether they should follow, but the detective carefully analyzes the situation. Anna didn't take her own car. She left hurriedly in a taxi. All signs point to one thing: she's running away. The detective decides to stay put and wait for the jackal to return. Inside the taxi, Anna breaks down in tears. She can no longer endure life with a husband who is a killer. She has made up her mind to take her child far away. Not long after, the jackal drives home. From a distance, the detective notices an injury on his shoulder. It's the first time she has seen his true face, and she's certain now this is her target. When the jackal enters the house and finds his wife and child gone, panic surges through him. Just then, Julie calls to warn him. The police have discovered his hideout. He must be careful. The jackal immediately rushes to his hidden room. He notices some cash missing from the drawer. He already knows where his wife has gone, but right now there's something more urgent. The police are close. At that moment, his drunken brother-in-law hears the commotion. Gun in hand, he walks into the living room and comes face to face with the detective. In the next second, he is shot dead. The gunshot alerts the jackal inside the hidden room. He quickly seals the glass door and assembles a silenced pistol. The detective soon reaches the bedroom. She sees the family photo on the wall and begins carefully searching the room, unaware that the jackal is hiding behind the mirror. silently observing her every move. As a top-tier assassin, he has countless ways to eliminate her, but he waits. After she moves away from the bedroom, he triggers the alarm and launches his attack with lightning speed. Her partner tries to save her and is killed instantly. Regaining her composure, the detective fires back on instinct. Her breathing grows heavy. Seeing that the jackal isn't revealing himself, she shouts, "I don't want to kill you. I want to use you to catch the real mastermind." She demands to know why he became an assassin. The jackal listens. Instead of ambushing her, he calmly responds with a question of his own. Hearing his voice, she spins around, aiming her weapon. "I like to," she replies. In the blink of an eye, the jackal vanishes like a phantom, reappearing in another position. The detective calls out again, "I saw your wife leave with your child. I can help you." But everything happens too fast. She falls. Meanwhile, Anna has arrived at the airport. When she sees her husband calling, she resolutely throws her phone into the trash. For the first time, the normally composed jackal completely loses control. He roars in fury, vowing to find her. At that moment, a car suddenly crashes toward him. But this is not the end of the story. Soon after, the doors of a bus open. A handsome man steps off calmly. It's the jackal. Once again, he has escaped death. The police lose his trail. Now he has only 2 goals left: find his wife and collect the money owed to him. In a park, on a quiet bench, Julie waits. She hands him a newspaper, pointing to a man in the photo, the true mastermind. Curious, she asks how he survived the siege. The jackal doesn't answer. He simply says that before anything else, he must find someone. The path for season 2 is now clear. On one side, he must track down the wife who betrayed him. On the other, he will head to New York to reclaim what he is owed. And an even greater storm is coming.